Hey YouTube, I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I made a promise that I would make this video. I made that promise to CR England after I left CR England. Man, I got so much to say about CR England. I don't know where to start. I think I'll start with just the positive part of my career in trucking. It's 6 months in. I'm 6 months in now in my CDL. I work for another company. I left CR England after 3 months for many reasons. They claim better pay to start, but they probably are the worst in pay, and they lie. They're just liars. Back to the positive. I'm doing great. I love my trucking job. I'm making pretty good money. I would like to be making better money, of course. That takes time. You got to stick with it. That's for sure. And but back to CR England. I'm making this video because I want to warn people going to CR England to really think about an alternative. There's much better companies out there. Getting some flair there. Much better companies out there than CR England. But let me explain some of the things that CR England did to really upset me and push me away. CR England made some promises to a whole lot of students, a lot of people. A lot. Because they literally push. Their classes are 100 people at a time, and they're counting on a lot of those people quitting and failing, so that CR England doesn't have to pay back that student loan. And CR England pockets that money. They're getting that money from a lender. It's like $5,000-$6,000, and CR England doesn't have to pay that back if you drop out, or you quit your contract before your contract's over. Now, what they don't tell you, and they don't make it really clear, is if you do drop out, and that loan goes to you. Those loans are 18% interest. Just to give you an idea of how much of a loan sharking issue that is, or just thievery. I want to call it thievery. 18%. Your monthly payment is $150 toward that loan. $155. And out of that $155, $25 of that, or not even $25 of that, is actually going toward the principal. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But one of the big things that CR England did, and I, when I went to work for, I went to school to go to work for CR England, I had a set budget, and I based it all on what CR England, told me they were going to do for me. CR England, first of all, CR England, had a guaranteed pay, or at least that's the way they explained it to me. A guaranteed pay. In phase 1, I would get like $500, and it was like $580. Okay, so I budgeted myself, very carefully with that, and then after phase 1, it would be $700. So I, budgeted myself to be prepared to do the $700 in phase 2. Then after phase 2, they say you're going to do 34 cents split with a team driver. So that's 17 cents a piece. Which can be a little bit more than 700 if you're getting the loads and the miles. So all said and done, after I signed my contract, and this was a lot of students that went through this, and a lot of students that quit after the fact, and after they found out that they too were lied to. That $700 went out the window, and phase 2 was now 34 cents split. And let me tell you, man, my first paycheck was like $300. Okay, after getting $580, which is barely enough to pay my bills, get through, so that first check, $300, and then $400, and $600. They were small checks. We weren't getting the miles. I can remember actually sitting for 60 hours, over 60 hours in a week. That's basically 2 34-hour restarts, and not getting paid, away from my family. I mean, I hadn't seen my family, my wife and my son, in 4 months. I couldn't afford to go home. So it got real scary and really depressing out there on the road. You're putting in a lot of, you're putting in all that time on the road and truck stops and sleeping in a truck with somebody else, which is just ridiculous. Team driving's probably the worst thing you could ever do. These trucks aren't big enough, hardly big enough for one person. I mean, these are smaller than most jail cells. You're walking on each other. It's awful. Not to mention that the upper bunk, the mattress is half of what the mattress is down, so somebody's getting screwed. Do you know what I mean? And the mattresses they put in these trucks are horrible. You could barely sleep on them. So it was a horrible situation. I'm in a new Cascadia right now, a new Freightliner, and they're putting these new mattresses in them on the bottom bunk, and they're nice mattresses. They're thick, they're comfortable. I like them. I like them a lot. Yes, but CR England, they did a real nasty to me. And that was just one of a few things that they did. I got in trouble. I got in trouble over a trailer, a DOT inspection, where I had a cracked frame. I brought that trailer in to have it inspected, and CR England passed that trailer. An hour and a half out, I'm at a DOT station, and I get grounded for that trailer with a cracked frame, and I got a ticket. I got a DOT record for that, and I didn't even get so much as an apology from CR England. That was pretty upsetting. But there were a lot of issues that I feel just makes CR England probably one of the worst companies you could work for or start out with. There's definitely some better companies out there that'll put you through CDL and way more professional. Starting with Swift. Swift is 100 times better than CR England. Their facilities, their people, their professionalism, everything about them. A lot of people knock Swift, but I tell you, man, Swift's a pretty good company. to work for. Werner, Prime, a lot of these other, any one of these companies are better than CR England. CR England is the worst company you could work for. If I had the ability to sue them, based on the fact that they made a lot of promises, and I signed a contract based on those promises. And here I am, I'm stuck. Lucky for me, the company I went with is paying my tuition. No, that's really great. My tuition is being paid for, so it's not coming out of my own pocket. My credit's staying good. This is a good thing. So, I just, I want to make this video and hopefully reach some people thinking about going to CR England, and and saying and getting them to not go to CR England, go anywhere else but CR England. Like I say, their whole system is designed to get you to quit. So that you will they don't have to pay back that student loan, because they're making money on those student loans. They're counting on a lot of students quitting after they've already gone through the school, and they're in a truck. They're out there on the road, and they're doing things to really discourage you and make you want to quit, because they don't need all those drivers. I mean, they're pushing 100 students through every 2 weeks, over 100 students through every 2 weeks. They don't need all those drivers. So it's obvious that they're in the game to make money as a school, and how they do that is they make it so it's really hard on you, and you're kind of forced out financially, and I'll tell you, man, you got to be well prepared to go a few months on very little money. And who's got that kind of money stashed away? You go in there with the idea, okay, I'm going to get through this in 2 weeks, I'm going to be in a truck, I'm going to be making money, everything's going to be okay. Well, it doesn't work that way. First of all, you see a lot of students going up in there, pretty much starving for that 2 weeks, because they don't have any money. For some of these people, this is a last hope to get a decent job, and they've already been out of work, so yeah, they don't have any money. So you're eating ramen noodle, and that's it. You're eating a lot of ramen noodle. What sucked though is that continued. After the 2 weeks of school, I'm up in the truck, and I'm still eating ramen noodle, man. I lost weight, and I'm thin to begin with, so it didn't, it was an unhealthy amount of weight that I lost, because I couldn't afford to eat. I was sending all the money I was making, I was sending home to my wife to just barely pay the bills, and we weren't able to pay all our bills. We had to borrow money from friends and family to get through. But I'm good now. I'm doing pretty good. I got out of CR England, and went with what I feel was a much better offer, a better company, and they're taking good care of me. So to any of you thinking about going to CR England, don't. And I'm not, I'm not a complainer. I'm really not a complainer. I'm not the kind of person that likes to complain. But yeah, I have no problem, saying, hey, England's a bad company, and they don't care about their people. All their advertising is lies, and that's not good. When you lie to people, that's just not right, So, yeah, don't do it. So this is Eagle Eye Trucker, over and out, and good luck with your CDL career, and I hope it goes well for you.